Good morning, girls. How are you all? Last class we studied software architecture introduction, definition, and architecture is a set of structures. Do we remember? Okay, let us recollect all those things. And we studied about the categories of the software architecture. Okay, there are three categories of software architecture. One is the module structure, the next one is the component and connector structure, next is the allocation structure. These are the three structures we studied. Among all those three structures, we studied only module structure. Do you remember? Okay. If you don't remember, just take down the notes and recall it. We will move on to the next topic, which is component and connector structure. Component and connector structures. This component and connector structure represent decisions and how the system is to be structured as a set of elements having the runtime behavior and interactions. Is nothing but we have studied that module structures. Module structures means what? Each and everything will be divided as a units. Okay, again these units have to be connected together and we have to specify the relationship among those units, then only we can combine the result. Okay, for that only we are using this component and connector structure. So this is telling about the set of elements, how it has to be connected. Okay, how the components have to be connected and what kind of connectors should be used. That means interactions, what kind of interactions has to be done among the elements. That is called component and connector structures. Okay, the elements could be any kind of runtime components, such as it can be a service or it can be a group of service, it can be a client or it can be a server, it can be a filter service. So it can be any type of runtime element. So this connectors will act as a vehicle among the components. So if it wants to be connected, it has to be combined together between two elements. So it will be like a call and return procedure or process synchronization operators, pipes and others. Okay. So when we are using these kinds of connectors, means component and connector structures, the following questions we may ask. Okay, what are the major executing components and how do they interact at runtime? What are the major shared data stores? Which parts of the system are replicated? How does data progress through the system? What parts of the system can run in parallel? Can a system structure change as it executes, and if so, how it is going to be changed? So this component and connector structure will be like a vehicle between the elements, and it will be like a call and return procedure where to retrieve the result. Okay, so this is called as the component and connector structures. Next one is about the component and connector structures includes some set of structures. What are they? The first one is about the process or communicating process. Second one is about the concurrency. Third one, shared data or repository. Fourth one, client server. Okay, by the name itself, we can understand that these kinds of structures are going to be used as the connection between elements. Okay, so communicating process means what? There are some kind of process. Among those process, it is going to be communicated. Means either it can send the information or it can receive the information. Okay, so we are going to see one by one in detail. Okay, so the first one, process or communicating process. So like all the structures in this component and connector structure, it is having the orthogonal to the module based structures. Okay, the second one, it is dealing with the dynamic aspects of the running system. Okay, during dynamic process, if it wants to send or receive some data means this will deal about it. Okay, and the units here are processes, threads are connected, and which they are communicate with each other, synchronization or at exclusion operations. So to send the information or to receive the information, or to synchronize these two processes, or to send or receive or some other exclusion operations can also be done through this process or communicating process structure. Next one is about the concurrency. You know what is concurrency? Yes, it will adjust with other modules, which is nothing but when the other modules or other process are working, it will also allow that particular process to work. Okay, here the units or components and the connectors will be called as the logical threads. Okay, so it is a sequence of computation that can be allotted to a separate physical thread later in the design process. Clear, girls? Okay, this is called as concurrency. Next one is shared data or repository. You know what is repository? It is a database. Shared data is nothing but the repository information are going to be shared by one or more units or elements. So it this structure comprises the components, and it will allow those components to create, store and access the data. If the system is if the system structured around one or more shared data or repository, this will be very good. One or more repository will share among more than one modules or units. Okay, and it will show how they are going to be shared, how the data are going to be shared among software elements. Okay, so this is called as the shared data or repository. Next one is the client server. You know very well about client server. Yes, okay, among the client and server there should be communication, then only the data can be sent and also can be received. So it is a cooperating client and server means there should be connectors, and there should be some kind of protocols we need to share the messages among the system work. Okay, so this will be very useful for the supporting modifiability and supporting runtime performance. No? In that particular concern, it will be very useful. The previous structure is component and connector structure, which is going to connect two elements. The next is about allocation structure, which is going to show the relationship. The previous one was used for the relationship. This is to show the relationship between the software elements or one or more external environments. Okay, where the software is going to be created or going to be executed. Okay, it will allow the viewers to ask these kinds of questions. What processor does each software element execute on? In what directories, files is each element stored during the development process or to the testing process or system building? And what is the assignment of each software element to a development elements? These are the questions should be asked by the viewers while they are showing the relationship among the units. Clear? This allocation structure include the following structure. First one is about the deployment, second one is about the implementation, and the third one is about the work assignment. Okay, first one, deployment. This structure shows the software assigned to hardware processing and the communication elements, which is nothing but it is going to show the hardware process. Okay, So the elements of the software and the hardware entities and communication pathways. Okay, if it is going to be a printer, to which element this has been connected. Okay, like that. Hardware entities are going to be connected with which communication pathway, like that. Next, this allows an engineer to reason about the why it has to be connected. Either it is for the data integrity or for the data availability or for the security. So that is going to be viewed by the engineer, means software engineer. Okay, girls. Next, implementation. This structure means it is a implementation is the relationship. Remember? Okay. This structure shows how the software element are mapped to a file structure. Okay, in the development, integration, on configuration control environments. And this is critical for the management of the development activities and the build process. Okay, because through this only it is going to be implemented. So it is a very critical process. The last one is about work assignment. Work assignment is nothing but this is going to say about the modules. This module is going to be allocated for which team. Okay, which team will be proper for doing this particular work. Okay, different types of development teams will be there in the software companies. So which team will be better for this particular work? Okay, so this has to be cleared, means this has to be very well known by the architect, software architect. Okay, if it is a large multi-source development projects, means the work assignment structure will be done based on the call out of units, means for a single team it has to be assigned, the work has to be assigned. Again, the work has to be implemented, means everyone in the team needs to be called and they have to submit their works. Okay, so far we have studied three structures: module structure, component and connector structure, allocation structure. In module structure, again it has been three different types of structures, which are decomposition, users, class structure. In component and connector structures, again it is going to be four different type. Either it can be a client server or concurrency, process, shared data. And if you are coming to allocation structure, again there are three different types. Either it can be a work assignment structure or a deployment structure or implementation structure. Clear, girls? Next topic is about importance of software architecture. Why the software architecture is important? So basically it is important for three reasons according to the perspective of the technical. Okay, technical aspect perspective is nothing but the person who is going to develop. Based on that, he is deciding that these three reasons for importance of the architecture. First one is about the communicating among stakeholders. You know who is stakeholders? So the one who is going to use the software. Okay, so this structure is going to help, or it's going to create a common abstraction of a system. Okay, and it is going to be used for mutual understanding, and if there is any negotiation or the communication can be done through this software architecture. For that purpose it is very very important. So what purpose? Communicating among stakeholders. So to have a conversation or to have a communication with the users, this structure is very very useful. Next, early design decisions. Early design decisions is nothing but before developing the system itself, we could have get some kind of ideas. So it has to be made as a decision. So to make it as a decision, this design will be very very useful. And at the beginning itself, some of the decisions are made, means it is it has to be analyzed properly and it can be implemented easily. Okay, third one, transferable abstraction of a system. which is nothing but we have a model. It can be transferred among the developers. So these developers can get a clear picture about the model or about the software, what it is going to be, and how it is going to develop a product. So what are the quality attributes, what are the functional attributes, and what kind of requirements, everything can be done easily. For that purpose, this software architecture is important. So with this, we will finish our class today. The next class is going to be about the predicating system qualities.